little guy. And I'm a little hungry. I don't know if Adele made these or not, but they're really good. I'm gonna keep munching on these. Let me see. I miss you a lot. So does Nova. I wish you could come in my suitcase. That'd be nice. Hey, but you'll have my book though. They won, of course, but it was a grueling affair, with the battle room so filled with a labyrinth of stars that hunting down the enemy during mop-up took 45 minutes. It was post-Slattery's Badger army, and they refused to give up. There is a new wrinkle in the game, too. When they disabled or damaged an enemy, he thawed in about 5 minutes. The way it worked in practice, only when the enemy was completely frozen did he stay out of action the whole time. But the gradual thawing did not work for Dragon Army. Crazy Tom was the one who realized that what was happening when they started getting hit from behind by people they thought were safely out of the way. And at the end of the battle, Slattery shook Ender's hand and said, "I'm glad you won. If I ever beat you, Ender, I want to do it fair. Use what they give you. If you've got an advantage over the enemy, use it." "Oh, I did," he grinned. "I'm only fair-minded before and after the battles." The battle took so long that breakfast was over, and he looked at his hot, sweating, tired soldiers waiting in the corridor and said, Today you know everything? No practice, get some rest, have some fun, pass the test." It was a measure of their weariness that they didn't even cheer or laugh or smile, just walked into the barracks and stripped off their clothes. They would have practiced if he asked them to, but they were reaching the end of their strength, and going without breakfast was one unfairness too many. Ender meant to shower right away, but he was also tired. He lay down on his bed in his flash sheet just for a moment, and woke up at the beginning of lunchtime. So much for his idea of studying more about the buggers this morning. Just time to clean up, go eat, and head for class. He peeled off his flash suit and stank from sweat. His body felt cold, his joints oddly weak. He shouldn't have slept in the middle of the day. I'm beginning to slap off. I'm beginning to wear down. Can't let it get to me. So he jogged to the gym and forced himself to climb the rope 3 times before going to the bathroom and shower. It didn't occur to him that his absence in the commander's mess would be noticed, that showering during the noon hour when his own army would be wolfing down their first meal of the day, he would be completely, helplessly alone. Even when he heard them come into the bathroom, he paid no attention. He was letting water pour over his head, over his body. The muffled sound of footsteps was hardly noticeable. Maybe lunch was over, he thought. He started to soap himself again. Maybe somebody finished practice late. Maybe not. He turned around. There were 7 of them, leaning back against the metal sinks or standing closer to the showers, watching him. Bonzo stood in front of them. Many were smiling, the condescending leer of the hunter for his concerned victim. Bonzo was not smiling, however. "Oh," Ender said. Nobody answered, so Ender turned off the shower, even though there was still soap on him, and reached for his towel. It wasn't there. One of the boys was holding it. It was Bernard. All it would take for the picture to be complete was for Stilson and Peter to be there too. They needed Peter's smile. They needed Stilson's obvious stupidity. Ender recognized the towel as their opening point. Nothing would make him look weaker than to chase naked after the towel. That was what they wanted. To humiliate him, to break him down. He wasn't going to play. He refused to feel weak because he was wet and cold and unclothed. He stood strong, facing them, his arms at his sides. He fastened his gaze at Bonzo. "Your move," Ender said. "This is no game," said Bernard. "We're tired of you, Ender. You graduate today, on ice." Ender did not look at Bernard. It was Bonzo who hungered for his death, even though he was silent. The others were along for the ride, daring themselves to see how far they might go. Bonzo knew how far he would go. "Bonzo," Ender said softly, "your father would be proud of you." Bonzo stiffened. "He would love to see you now. Come to fight a naked boy in a shower, smaller than you, and you brought 6 friends. He would say, 'Oh, what honor.'" Nobody came to fight you, said Bernard. We just came to talk you into playing fair with the games. Maybe lose a couple now and then. The others laughed, but Bonzo didn't laugh. Neither did Ender. Be proud, Benito, pretty boy. You can go home and tell your father. Yes, I beat up Ender Wiggin, who was barely 10 years old, and I was 13, and I had only six of my friends to help me, and somehow we managed to defeat him, even though he was naked and wet and alone. Ender Wiggin is so dangerous and terrifying. It was all we could do not to bring 200. Shut your mouth, Wiggin, said one of the boys. We didn't come here to hear the little bastard talk, said another. You shut up, said Bonzo. Shut up and stand out of the way. He began to take off his uniform. Naked and wet and alone, Ender. So we're even. I can't help that I'm bigger than you. You're such a genius, you figure out how to handle me. He turned to the others. Watch the door. Don't let anyone in. The bathroom wasn't large, and plumbing fixtures protruded everywhere. It had been launched in one piece as a low-orbit satellite, packed full of the water reclamation unit. It was designed to have no wasted space. It was obvious that what their tactics would have to be. Throw the other boy against the fixtures until one of them does enough damage that he stops. When Ender saw Bonzo's stance, his heart sank. Bonzo had also taken classes, and probably more recently than Ender. His reach was better. He was stronger, and he was full of hate. He would not be gentle. He will go for my head, thought Ender. He will try to go above all to damage my brain, and if this fight is long, he's bound to win. His strength can control me. If I'm to walk away from here, I have to win quickly and permanently. He could still feel again the sickening way that Stilson's bones had given way. But this time it will be my body that breaks, unless I can break him first. Ender stepped back, flipped the shower head so it turned outward, and turned on pure hot water. Almost at once the steam began to rise. He turned the next and the next. I'm not afraid of hot water, said Bonzo. His voice was soft. But it wasn't the hot water that Ender wanted. It was the heat. His body still had soap on it, and his sweat moistened it, made his skin more slippery than Bonzo would expect. Suddenly, there was a voice from the door. Stop it! For a moment, Ender thought it was his teacher come to stop the fight, but it was only Dink Meeker. Bonzo's friend caught him at the door. Stop it, Bonzo! Dink cried. Don't hurt him! Why not? Said Bonzo. For the first time, he smiled. Ah, thought Ender. He loves to have someone recognize that he's the one in control, that he has power. Because he's the best, that's why. Who else can fight the buggers? That's what matters, you fool. The buggers. Bonzo stopped smiling. It was the thing he hated most about Ender, that Ender really mattered to other people, and in the end, Bonzo did not. You've killed me with those words, Dink. Bonzo doesn't want to hear that I might save the world. Where are the teachers, thought Ender. Don't they realize that the first contact between us in this fight might be the end of it? This isn't like the fight in the battle room where no one had the leverage to do anything terrible damage. There's gravity in here, and the floors and walls are wet, are hard and jutted with metal. Stop this now or not at all. If you touch him, you're a bugger lover, cried Dink. You're a traitor. If you touch him, you deserve to die. They crammed Dink's face backward into the door, and he was silent. The mist from the showers dimmed the room, and the sweat was streaming down Ender's body. Now, before the soap is carried off me. Now, while I'm too slippery to hold. Ender stepped back, letting the fear he felt show in his face. Bonzo, don't hurt me, he said. Please. It was what Bonzo was waiting for, the confession that he was in power. For other boys, it might have been enough that Ender had submitted. For Bonzo, it was only a sign that his victory was sure. He swung his legs as if to kick, but changed it to a leap at the last moment. Ender noticed the shifting weight and stooped lower, so that Bonzo would be more off balance when he tried to grab Ender and throw him. Bonzo's tight, hard ribs came against Ender's face, and his hand slapped against his back, trying to grip him. But Ender twisted, and Bonzo's hand slipped. In an instant, Ender was completely turned, yet still inside Bonzo's grasp. The classic move at this moment would be to bring up his heel into Bonzo's crotch. But for that move to be effective required too much accuracy, and Bonzo expected it. He was already rising onto his toes, thrusting his hips backward to keep Ender from reaching his groin. Without seeing him, Ender knew it would bring his face closer, but almost in Ender's hair. So instead of kicking, he lunged upward off the floor with the powerful lunge of the soldier bounding from the wall, and jammed his head into Bonzo's face. Ender whirled in time to see Bonzo staggered backwards, his nose bleeding, gasping from surprise and pain. Ender knew that at this moment he might be able to walk out of the room and end the battle. That way he escaped from the battle room after drawing blood. But the battle would only be fought again and again until the will to fight was finished. The only way to end things completely was to hurt Bonzo enough that his fear was stronger than his hate. So Ender leaned back against the wall behind him, then jumped up, pushed off with his arms. His feet landed in Bonzo's belly and chest. Ender spun in the air and landed on his toes and hands. He flipped over, scooted under Bonzo, and this time when he kicked upward to Bonzo's crotch, he connected hard and sure. Bonzo did not cry out in pain. He did not react at all, except that his body rose a little in the air. It was as if Bender had kicked a piece of furniture. Bonzo collapsed, fell to his side, and sprawled directly under the spray of steaming hot water from a shower. He made no movement to escape the murderous heat. "My God!" someone shouted. Bones' friend leapt to turn off the water. Ender slowly rose to his feet. Someone thrust his towel at him. It was Dink. "Come on out of here," Dink said. He led Ender away. Behind them, they heard the heavy clatter of adults running down a ladderway. Now the teachers would come, the medical staff, to dress the wounds of Ender's enemy. Where were they before the fight, when there might have been no wounds at all? There was no doubt in Ender's mind. There was no help for him. Whatever he faced, now and forever, no one would be able to save him from it. Peter might be scum, but Peter had been right, always right. The power to cause pain is the only power that matters. The power to kill and destroy, because if you can't kill, then you are always subject to those who can, and nothing and no one will ever save you. Dink led him to a room, made him lie on the bed. "Are you hurt in any way?" he asked. Ender shook his head. Cookie. Excuse me. "You took him apart. I thought you were dead meat, the way he grabbed you, but you took him apart. If he stood up longer, you would have killed him. He meant to kill me." I know. Nobody hates like Bones, though. But not anymore. If they don't ice him for this and send him home, he'll never look you in the eye again. You or anybody. He had 20 centimeters on you, and you made him look like a crippled cow standing there chewing her crud. All Ender could see, though, was the way Boneso looked as Ender kicked upward in his groin. The empty, dead look in his eyes. He was already finished then, already unconscious. His eyes were open, but he wasn't thinking or moving anymore. Just that dead, stupid look on his face. That terrible look, the way Stilson looked when I finished with him. "They'll ice him, though," Dink said. "Everyone knows he started it. I saw them get up and leave the commander's mess. Took me a couple of seconds to realize you weren't there either. And then a minute more to find out where you'd gone. I'm sorry. I told you not to be alone. Sorry. They're bound to ice him. Troublemaker. Him and his stinking honor." Then, to Dink's surprise, Ender began to cry. Lying on his back, still soaking wet with sweat and water, he gasped his sobs, tears seeping out his closed eyelids and disappearing in the water on his face. Are you all right?" "I didn't want to hurt him," Ender cried. "Why didn't he just leave me alone?" Hey, that's not funny. He heard his door open softly and close. He knew at once that it was his battle instructions. He opened his eyes, expecting to find the darkness of the early morning before 0600. Instead, the lights were on. He was naked, and when he moved, the bed was soaking wet. His eyes were puffy and painful from crying. He looked at the desk on his clock. 1820, it said. "It's the same day. I already had a battle today. I had 2 battles today. The bastards know what I've been through, and they're doing this to me." William B. Griffin Army. Talamomo. Tiger Army. 1900. He sat on the edge of his bed. The note trembled in his hand. "I can't do this," he said silently, and then not silently. "I can't do this." He got up bleary and looked for his flashlight. Then he remembered. He had put it in the cleaner while he showered. It was still there. Holding the paper, he walked out of his room. Dinner was nearly over, and there were a few people in the corridor, but no one spoke to him, just watched him, perhaps in awe of what happened at noon in the bathroom. Perhaps because of the forbidding, terrible look on his face. Most of his boys were in the barracks. "Oh, Ender, they're going to be a practice tonight." Ender handed a paper to Hot Soup. "Those sons of bitches," he said. 2 at once. 2 armies, shouted Crazy Tom. "They'll just trip over each other," said Bean. "I've got to clean up," Ender said. "Get them ready, get everybody together. I'll meet you there at the gate." He walked out of the barracks. A tumult of conversation rose behind them. He heard Crazy Tom scream, "2 fart-eating armies will whip their butts." The bathroom was empty, all cleaned up. None of the blood that poured from Bones' nose into the shower water. All gone. Nothing bad ever happened here. Well, let me not. Ender stepped under the water and rinsed himself, took the sweat of combat and let it run down the drain. All gone, except they recycled it and will be drinking Bones' blood water in the morning. All the life gone out of it, but his blood just the same. His blood and my sweat washed it, and down in their stupidity or cruelty or whatever it was that made them let it happen. He dried himself, dressed in his flash suit, and walked to the battle room. His army was waiting in the corridor, and the door was still not opened. They watched him in silence as they walked to the front to stand by the the blank gray force field. Of course, they all knew about his fright in the bathroom today. That and their own weariness from the battle that kept them quiet. While the knowledge that they would be facing 2 armies filled them with dread. Everything they can do to beat me, thought Ender. Everything they can think of. Change all the rules, they don't care, just so they beat me. Well, I'm sick of the game. No game is worth Boneso's blood pinking the water on the bathroom floor. Ice me. Send me home. I don't want to play anymore. The door disappeared. Only 3 meters out there were 4 stars together, completely blocking the view from the door. 2 armies weren't enough. They had to make Ender deploy his forces blind. Bean, said Ender. Take your boys and tell me what's on the other side of the star. And I will be ending it there. I love you very, very much.